Hi, this is Tim Campsell at Action Coach of Indiana with our Business Spotlight series, where we're interviewing local business owners to promote them through our social channels and email database. And this is a free service we're providing because we know that when all small businesses are strong, then the economy is strong. And today I have the pleasure of speaking with Andy. Welcome, Andy. It's great to have you on the program today.
Good morning. It's still morning. Yes. Hi.
So, hey, to get started, I would love you to share with us a little bit of your personal story.
Well, you might not have enough time here, but I grew up in Lebanon, Indiana. It's about between Indianapolis and West Lafayette. Not quite to Frankfurt, fairly small town. A long time ago, let's see, in high school, I was in a gifted artist program, and a local Little League Diamond manager came by and they wanted some student work on some signage at the local Lebanon Little League. A good friend of mine, and I accepted the challenge, and it was all the money in the world. I think they gave us $40 for each 4-foot by 8-foot panel. We had no idea what we were doing. I think we painted them with house paint and then, stenciled them out and then filled them in with more house paint or shoe polish. I don't even know, but so we did all the signage there. They certainly got what they paid for, that's for sure. But it kind of got us started. Me and another friend, like I said, dear friend in high school. We still remain great friends to this day. He had a sign company for quite a while too, and has about 10 years ago, I think he stepped away from it. He sold it, but then after we did that, I painted signs out of my mom and dad's garage through college, and just kind of realized, I started figuring out how to do it, reading some books, talking to some people. I visited some local sign shops. They weren't very local. There was really nobody in Lebanon doing it. But there's a gentleman in Frankfurt that allowed me to come in, and I said, how do you make signs? And he kind of showed, and it was all hand lettered at that time. I didn't have any money for any sort of computer automated sign making equipment. So he kind of showed me how to do a little bit of it. And did lettered and made signs all the way through school. Graduated from Lebanon High School and went on to IU and got a computer graphics and graphic design degree. And so I would probably tell you that I had definitely a blue collar mentality, but then I discovered this white collar part of the industry and fell in love with it. My first computer was a Macintosh. I think the screen was 9 inches and black and white. The mouse looked like a shoebox, and it was the greatest. And I just loved it at that point, and thought, oh gosh, I can blend blue collar, white collar together, and graduated with a degree from IU in computer graphics and graphic design, and started up a little bitty tiny sign shop. Actually, what I did was I interviewed with a handful of corporate design, and I realized that's not, it wasn't what I wanted to do. And so, well, let's give this a go. I was painting signs. Maybe I can make a living doing that. And so one thing led to another, and opened up a little bitty tiny shop. And I think it was almost an entire year where I didn't even have a phone or of course the internet didn't exist. So you go out and sell it, and you put on the nice pants to go sell it, and you come back and I buy the stuff and paint it. And then one thing led to another, and started making a little money, and you invest back in the company. I bought a little bitty tiny plotter. I think today you can buy them like a Cricut. You've heard of the Cricut, those little lettering machines. But back then they were very expensive. I think my mom loaned me some money, and I paid her back right away, because as soon as I got that, then the vinyl decal era, man, how much faster than sitting there and lettering and hoping you do it the right way. So one thing led to another, and got a federal tax ID number 1992. So we're coming up on 30 years. And one thing led to another. You get an employee. I was chucking a truck for a long time, and you get an employee, and then you get another job, and then you maybe get another employee. And then I was constantly putting money back into the company. The one thing I didn't want to do is just, damage my own company by trying to overpay myself. So I just took a very modest salary for quite some time, and I just wanted to keep putting back in the company. And then today we have quite a few more people than just what started out. But one of the things, or I feel one of the huge advantages as it relates to SignWorks, is that my early on formal instruction really showed me the value of technology, and I just jumped right into that. What you don't see here is a complete and total geek as far as computer equipment and that sort of. I just was constantly researching computer automated sign making equipment, And I think that really helped us out there in the beginning. And I
Fantastic.
had another thing too. I actively sought out mentors, men that I really respected their work ethic. Some of the things that they did. One particular individual had a trim carpentry company, and he did wonderful. But he's just a very honest, ethical guy, and I just wanted to be around guys like that and ask him a lot of dumb questions. And so anyway, that's a little bit of the story. I hope that's what you're kind of looking for.
Yeah,
But
that's
that's
awesome. Yeah, perfect. And tell us a little about your family.
okay. I've got 3 children and a wife. Coming up on our 26th wedding anniversary here in November. Uh,
Congratulations.
23, 21, and 15. And they all went to Heritage Christian School. And my youngest daughter just transferred from Heritage to Westfield. We're giving this a try just for a change. It's been a good experience so far. Live in Carmel. And I don't know, man. I would describe a lot of what my life is. It's definitely been a long time season of blessing, and I'm just a super grateful guy trying to give back, take care of our people here really well. I want to overpay them, and I want to make sure we really kill it with the benefits. One thing for a company our size to be able to do what we do with benefits, it's pretty unheard of. So
That's fantastic.
very proud about that. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. So, Andy, tell us a little bit more about your business. I love asking this question. If I was to say, what's your 60-second commercial, how would you describe your business?
I may have already done it. One of the things, our secret sauce is one of the things that I learned early on was in the sign industry that it's not known for service. In fact, it's terrible service. I thought that was an easy way to win against other competitors. Just call people back, and in this industry, if you just call them back, they're so happy with it. I thought this was normal in business. Anyway. But so our secret sauce here is the creativity. One of the things that I also noticed in this industry was that you have a lot of fantastic artisans out there. They can build anything, great signage. But one of the things that I noticed was in the sign industry was just a lack of really good design. You would have to go to another source, ad agency, and pay exorbitant fees for to be treated, poorly for the most part. Because, and I'm not saying that's all ad agencies, but as it relates to getting good design, you got to pay a lot of money for the really good stuff. And so my formal design background, I really wanted to make our secret sauce just a super high end design. So you didn't have to go to 2 places. So you could come to a place where you could get that high quality design here within a sign shop too. And it's taken a long time for us to get that too, because we've tried to come in and share with high end companies that we can do brand guides and logos and whatnot. And it took a long time because they have to see the quality of our work before they really will give you the keys to their car. So it's been a kind of an uphill struggle. I would say that we sort of have outgrown our brand, but we have to just keep telling people the value of that and what we, take real serious here, which is that really high end striking design.
Fantastic. So Andy, tell us a little bit more about who do you serve, or who's your best customers or clients, or what we call a target audience?
Sure. Well, this company was built serving the multifamily industry. So for the most part, about 5 years in, I had a mentor say, you should really consider apartment signage. And so we went after that, and I didn't know what I was doing at all. I think I would go up and I would try to speak and sell to the leasing agents there on site, where they're wonderful people, but they just don't have any decision making. And it wasn't until finally I spoke with some more people in the industry, and they said, well, you want to go to a regional director. They have more of you can get decision making and direction there much better than you can anywhere else, or even higher than that, marketing director and whatnot. So we've gone all over the United States. In fact, we've serviced San Diego, Florida, Texas, Carolinas. I mean, just you name it. I'm pretty sure we've been in most of the states. But I have a lot of people say, how do you get that? Well, oftentimes local apartment management companies, high-end companies, will have 40 or 50 properties, and they may be way outside the footprint of Indianapolis or Indiana, and they'll say, can you guys go there? And we learned how to make it, put it in a big truck and send install teams down, and for the most part, we service that. Now, on top of that, we have got a full-blown vehicle wrap and vehicle identification division. I didn't see this coming at all. In fact, we really don't even promote it that much. I do a little bit on social media, but not that much. I think it stemmed from mostly, hey, I also have some trucks. Can you do that? And of course, you say yes, and then you figure out how to do it. So we've got a vehicle fleet division that services enormous volume here in the Midwest. Now, one of the differences in those brands and those two companies, not really a company and a company, but it's a different division. You're never going to do a wrap in San Diego. It's just not going to happen. It just doesn't make it, you know, you can send graphics out. It just, the vehicle wrap industry is very regional, where everything else we do can be very national in that regard. Couple of other areas that we found an enormous amount of growth in the past 5 years, 6-7 years has been schools, big churches, universities, love municipalities, love creating big things, big gateway pieces for cities, hospitals from time to time, although that's a difficult sell dynamic. A good portion of the people that we want to partner with and really try to grab partnerships with our architects, because and then once they work with us once or twice, they'll take us to other jobs, and it's, you know, they see the value of, you know, what we can do. Good portion of what I try to tell our people all the time is I want to deliver concierge level quality with concierge level service. It doesn't always work out that way, but you know, we strive for that. That's our goal. And so with that being said, it's a little bit, I hope that answers your question on some of those other areas that we, you know, are trying to sell to.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And because I did know from some of your social posts that you do more than just signs. So I appreciate you elaborating on that. Yeah.
I was introduced to a term about 6 or 7 years ago, EGD, which stands for Environmental Graphic Design. And what we really love to do, what I personally love to do, is take over large spaces and transform them. It's a lot of fun. One of the things that we can also do here that I have yet to find people that are operating this space is we can do complete and total 3-dimensional fly-throughs of environments. We've got some fantastic people here that our presentations are different. And I would tell you that that's probably how we get a lot of our jobs, is because they see, you know, hey, we've completely mapped out the entire building inside and out, and we'll fly people through so they know exactly what all these environments are going to look like. And that's very, very enjoyable to do that. It's like a video game. Some of the stuff we use SketchUp and some of it's just a lot of fun to see what these guys back there create. Say, hey, let's do this. Let's fly through. Let's show the client exactly what they're going to get prior to, you know, ever fabricating it.
Yeah, which is, I've got to imagine, is a big deal, because not a lot of people can visualize a 2D illustration and understand what it's really going to look like and feel like in real life.
That's true. I oftentimes say that even visionaries need a vision. So, you know, to be able to cast a vision, we did a humongous church out in New Jersey, and we redesigned and completely took over. This church was granted the former HP World headquarters out there, but they turned it into a church. So they saw some of our stuff, and so what we did was we did a complete total flyover of all the nurseries, every single classroom. We even brought a Range Rover in, and we had to take a motor out and all the stuff, you know, gas tank and everything, and then we wrapped it to look you know, like it had been off-roaded, but a good portion of it, as you come into the teen areas, where, you know, this is your quest with Christ. And so they had all these vehicles. And so, you know, we said, what if we found an old Range Rover? And, you know, it was just sort of a gateway piece into the teen areas. And they're like, oh, that sounds awesome. So yeah, that was
very
interesting.
cool.
Yeah. But if we hadn't shown them, you know, our fly-through process, they would have really struggled with. It would have taken a long time to get to them to sign on the dotted line, because they said this made it perfect for. We fully understand what's going on, and at any given time we'll sit there with a laptop, plug into their big screens, and fly them through and back up, show me this, and zoom it around, and it's like a video game.
Yeah, that is so cool. So
you look great.
Yeah. So this past year's been challenging for many businesses. What's one area that you had to pivot to make an impact for your business over the last 18 months or so, and how'd that work for you?
Well, I think the obvious is the supply chain. We're starting to see what used to take us 5 weeks now takes 8, 9, or 10.
Mm,
So we're trying to tell people, things take a while.
mm.
And that's been one of those. I'm not sure we've got a pivot stance for that. I don't know what we can possibly do other than just sell with proper expectations to our client base, because we can't speed the ships up. We don't know. We just we have no cure there other than just to be honest and upright with our clientele.
Yeah, yeah,
I
fair
mean,
enough.
the other component of it, whoever wrote the handbook for, hey, in case of pandemic, do this. So, we were just like everybody else. We had to try to figure out, okay, what do we do? And so I sent everybody home, and we sent all the workstations home. There were 2 people here that worked for us that did not really have a high-speed internet connection. So I took care of that for them and said, let's just go home. And so we actually got a lot done. However, in this particular business, I need people back there building things.
Right.
And that's not a virtual, that you can't do that. So we sort of, I guess I can say it now, we sort of deemed ourselves, at least a portion of our company, we deemed ourselves essential. Well, quite frankly, I think everybody's essential in everything that they do. So I sort of rejected that term altogether. But I had people begging me to come back. And I said, guys, let's just be careful. I mean, I don't want you guys to feel uncomfortable. I think we have a better understanding of what it is and how contagious or not contagious it is, what to do, not to do. But we obeyed everything we knew how to do, but we started making signs. And, that just got to, like I said, it was one of those deals where, what do? And you just have to do the next right thing and try to respect human beings. And I just want to make fantastic quality stuff back here. And I want to do it ethically and morally and the right way. So I other than that, who knows what tomorrow will hold.
Right. So. Yeah. But hey, here's an interesting question. It's been said that smart people learn from their mistakes and wise people learn from the mistakes of others. So what's a mistake you've made along the way that you'd be willing to share so that other entrepreneurs can learn from your experience?
Talking too much. My older brother shared with me, the whole, and we've all heard it. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth. I think God's trying to tell us something. Yeah. I'm not sure I'm any better at it, but I think if you're going to talk a lot, you really need to be a good listener as well. I actively seek out people. I don't want to ever feel like the smartest guy in the room, or act like it anyway. I think we all have our things that we're really smart at, and we all have things that we're not smart at. And if you're not good at something, get out of the way. And I think sometimes the mistake that I made is maybe getting in the way and fussing too much. That's being in business for quite a while, and just trusting people more. And so you hand off a big project to somebody, it doesn't get done exactly the way you want it. And so what do? Do you jump in? Do you you can micromanage the creativity right out of people. I think I've been guilty of doing that in the past. But you say you're sorry as a leader, and you try very hard to lead from the front. There's nothing wrong with being confident and competent, but also to be able to tell people, hey, I may have been outside my boundaries there. That probably I would say that things really started to change about 10 years ago when I just slowed some of that down and paid a little more attention to it. I wrote an article on LinkedIn several years ago about leadership and self-awareness, because I think that it's underrated or it's overrated. It's hard to get a grasp on it. People will follow you if you give them a paycheck. They'll do what you tell them to do. But to really truly be a leader, to get people to really want to do the extra, they have to. If you're lacking in self-awareness as a leader, you're not going to get people to run through a wall for you. And I really want people to feel like a team member here, and started listening more. And I tried to stop talking as much. So
well, I appreciate you sharing with and leading with your own vulnerability. I know that's going to help others. So thank you for being transparent with us.
When we have a group out there and we talk, I'll ask people. I know when we have a big project, I have 3 or 4 ways we can solve it. I already have a pretty good idea, and I've got some great people. But when I ask, how you guys want to do this, I was concerned years ago that people would interpret that as, well, he doesn't know how to do it. No, I do, but I want to hear what your thoughts are. Right. And so I had to kind of tell people, just because I'm asking you doesn't mean I don't know. I want to know how you would do it, and then being able to accept someone else's idea. I'm in a lot of work groups with clients that I see egos making the wrong decisions on a regular basis just because they want to be right.
Yeah.
And you kind of have to massage that. And
Yeah.
we'll do that. We'll have people hand us a project and say, "Hey, we want you to do it just like this," and we will. But then what we do, a little bit more of our secret sauce behind our pulpit is then we'll show them 2 or 3 other options. But what about this? Well, what about this? So you must respect what they tell you to do, but give them a few extra options as well. They may actually say, "You know what? That looks a little bit nicer. Maybe we can incorporate some of those elements as well."
Yeah, I love it. We have this analogy that we use with our clients called, how did you learn how to walk, or how did you learn how to walk growing up? Right? You fell down, you stumbled, you made lots of mistakes, right? And it was by doing that you finally learned how to walk. And what was surrounding you was loved ones who were encouraging and motivating you and cheering you on. So all you knew was that you were doing exactly what you were supposed to, right? You didn't know you were making mistakes. And then to your point, in the work environment, too many times, right, we get told not to make a mistake or get corrected or get our hands slapped. And it's like, well, I'm not going to put myself out there anymore if every time I try something, I get told that was the wrong thing. So I love your philosophy, right? Give people a chance to make a few mistakes and learn from it and grow and become a better version of themselves.
One of the things, yes, all that is definitely in line with the way we think here. There's a lot of, I spend a lot of time working on culture in the environment. If our number one commodity is creativity, I have to be a gardener here and make sure that stuff, we have a non-hostile environment. I don't lord over people. I don't tap my toe behind an artist. You're never going to get, it's just, you're not going to artists to do, to give you the best of them if you're really pressuring them or if it's an abusive environment. We have deadlines, things have to get done. We have to serve people, but I want to make sure that we don't take ourselves too serious as well along the way. And the culture is king here. I spend a lot of time on it. If I had a boss, if I had to explain this to a bean counter, some of the things that we do that foster that, I'm not sure I could have a quantifiable equation of this is why we do this and this is why it gets results. But that's true. The other thing too, when you hand a responsibility to somebody, we do give them an opportunity to fail, but you have to make sure that it's the calculated risk. If it's something that could cost a lot of money, then don't hand that to somebody just yet, or wait till they've proven themselves with project management, or before you hand off I guess it's a calculated risk on what you're allowing them to fail at. So
yep. I call that the safety net, right? You can't allow them to fail too big, but right. So you put something in place that only allows them to fail to a point that it's okay. Right.
There's a fine line too. If you've ever been on a team that didn't win ever, there's a difference between losing a game, but also being ultimately defeated too. So you don't want to let any of your team members get so defeated either. Give them enough rope, to climb out with, and try to lead them along the way. I think the people that have not lasted here are those that have not been coachable, reachable, or teachable. And I want to lead by the in the front in that area, to not walk around and act like you have all the answers. But I've been doing it for a long time, and there's very few challenges that have come up that we haven't done before. And I've got a great team out there that's been
awesome.
We've been together for a long time, and so there is a lot of team building. It takes a long time to get to certain spots where you can trust team members with almost anything. Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. I love your focus on your team, and you said earlier you can't quantify it, but I know just by the way you answered you've explained it. You can quantify it, but you can't quantify. A bean counter may not be able to, but you definitely can, right? You know that there's an ROI to the investment you've put into your team, which is awesome.
Certainly, I think in all businesses, it would shock me if other business owners didn't agree with this, that the number one, the biggest money drain, it would be losing somebody. It takes a lot to replace a human being, and especially if you've had a lot of time in them and training and living with them and working with them, and to have to replace a valuable team member. So then what do? Well, you create an environment where people don't want to leave, and I don't want anybody to ever leave. I mean, the group we have here now is strong. And, I know that in any business, people will come and go, but the core leadership, the core team, I really, I value everyone, but, when we lose anybody, it's different than it used to be. I used to take it very personally. Now I understand it's just business. Everybody has plan B, but I want to try to make plan A here as nice as possible. And again, it's not, this isn't Disney World. It's not, I don't want to paint a picture that we don't have any problems here, because we do, but even if we do have a problem behind the scenes, a clash in personalities is rare, but somebody might have a solution that others might not agree with, but eventually, you can have a conversation, civil conversation about how we're going to take care of things. And it's just an environment that I'm real grateful that's here. And it's not just me pushing it too, because people want to, I think we've all worked in environments that have been abusive and abrasive. And basically what I've also said is that there's two things. Everybody can deal with abrasive, but abusive, no one should have to deal with. Right. So, and we have clients that are, we will let clients go if they get past the abrasive part and get onto abusive. We'll let them go and we'll just move on, and part is friends, and your style doesn't match with ours. Yeah. We used to say, are we truly culturally aligned with certain companies? And it doesn't mean if we look exactly like them. It means, are we aligned with, is their buying dynamic match our selling dynamic?
That's awesome. So Andy, people who are listening to this, if they want to find out more about you, I'm going to include your contact information, a little bio about you along with this video. But what's the best way for folks to reach out and determine if you guys are the right fit for each other?
Yeah, the website's a great portfolio of who we are. It shows in all the work on that on our website. We have not just designed, we fabricated and installed in-house. www.SignWorksThinks.com. We rebranded that a little bit. We were Indianapolis Signworks for a long time, but we were so far outside of Indianapolis that we wanted to be. We really want people to know that we're a thinking company, and so the whole component of the thinks is that we just want people to know that we're constantly aware of their brand. We want to save them money, and it may cost a little bit more upfront, but in the long run, we can value engineer things and save money just because we understand how to design. But SignWorksThinks.com is a great way. On that website, you'll also find our phone number, 317-872-8722. And, we've got as everybody does on their websites, we have an opportunity to fill out a form. Hey, you want to talk about a project? Get a hold of us. And it's, the connect. And we've got several, as everybody else, we're all still constantly looking for good people. And there's a careers page there as well.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So, Andy, just finishing up here, tell us what's been most inspiring to you during all the craziness of the last couple of years.
Are we speaking COVID in the pandemic?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I loved it. I can't tell you how inspired I was, because I had so many people when we were home. I was coming in working, I was doing stuff, but it was just me. And but I had a majority of the team say, I want to come back to work. And I'm like, yeah, as you know, and they would say like, no, we want to. And okay, are you guys ready to? So again, we kind of took a little bit of a risk, because we didn't know at the time how serious were they going to come knocking on the door if we were working. But again, I think every single person trying to earn a living out there is essential. So we deemed ourselves essential. But when they wanted to come back, a lot of them wanted to come back and work. So this is what I love to do, and I don't want to be here. And so that was fun to see the team kind of come back together. I have many other stories, but that one was, that was probably the one that I enjoyed the most as it relates to the company and the pandemic.
Awesome. Well, hey, appreciate your time today. That does conclude the interview. For people listening to this, if you've heard something that's piqued your interest, please reach out to Andy. Again, we'll include the website, the phone number, a little bit more about the company along with this interview. As you heard from Andy today, very down-to-earth, humble person who cares more about doing what's right and taking care of your needs than the bottom line. And he said it a couple times that he wants to do what is going to make you feel wowed, that concierge service, and at a price that is going to fit within your budget, showing you those different videos of what the design is going to look like, so you're not really taking any risk, because you're going to get to see, feel, and and experience it. So, so absolutely reach out to Andy and his team and find out how they can take care of your next project. Andy, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show today and learning about you, and wish you tremendous success.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right. Have a fantastic day.
You too.